Hello everybody and welcome to the Drunkduck Quackcast. This is Quackcast number 702. I'm Ozone Ocean and with me are Tarts and Baines. Hello.
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 This week we're talking about expressions and we've just had some experiments with actually drawing expressions live for our little Patreon video, which is for our $5 patrons up. And on the whiteboard that we all shared so we could actually draw, and it was really cool. I might make that available to all patrons, not just the $5 ones for this month. But yeah, so that was a bit of fun. And yeah, now we're talking about expressions in the Quackcast. But before we get into that, theme music. And that, of course, was our little theme music. I love that tune. Right, so now we're going to be introducing the featured comic. Oh my god. What was the featured comic? Do you guys remember the featured comic? You don't. You're bad drunk duckers, aren't you? Naughty.
We're bad drunks.
Exactly. Naughty, capricious people. Not paying attention. Well, it was Carpe Doodle. And good little Quackcast is going to tell us about Carpe Doodle now.
Hello, this is Quackcast, and the feature I've selected for this week is Carpe Doodle by Matt Gasser, and it is rated E for everyone. Hungry for some bite-sized comic strips released once a week? Carpe Doodle is a Latin aphorism for seize the drawing, sketched while thinking about something else. Each one-panel comic strip tells a story using heightened awareness and commentary on the future of climate, an ideal dinner date for a self-worshipping person, dapper penguins, and power-hungry robots. A variety of color selections are used, with some pages in black and white, with others fully colored. Experimental stylistic art changes fluctuate between pages as an homage to cartoonists like Gary Larson and Charles Schulz. Some characters are expected to make a one-time cameo, with others becoming a recurring part of the cast. Live like Jerry, the top-hat-wearing, cane-wielding penguin, and read Carpe Doodle by Matt Gasser, rated E.
That was Quackcast talking about Carpe Doodle, which is a cool little comic there. I love the style. So now we're going to introduce the featured music. Gummalls has given us a theme to a comic called the Gimbalans or something like that. It's hard to pronounce the name. This music, it's introspective, considered and thoughtful. A short little compact track that leads us down a silent snowy path through a dark forest in the moonlight and into a bouncy castle filled with clowns. So take it away, Gummalls, with your theme to Gimbalans. That was Gummalls with his theme to the Gimbalans, which is a comic by Matt Gasser. And it's rated E for everyone. So there we are, Matt Gasser. So expressions, guys. Now we can chat about the actual topic of the Quackcast. What do you reckon? What's your most fun expression? I mean, what expression do you love the most that you've always got on your face?
Probably you could lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
So, a thirsty, reluctant horse, that's what Baines looks like.
Yeah.
My expression is humorous disdain. You scum. You don't deserve to be breathing the same air as myself. You must debase yourself in front of me in order to beg my forgiveness for existing within my sight.
So is that like a frown?
Yeah, how does that translate into expression?
Sneer.
That looks like you have just eaten something sour.
Exactly. I have smelled something disgusting.
Yeah.
The whiff of the common folk. Yeah.
So depends. I mean, when I am online with you guys, I'm just happy face, I guess. But in my general day-to-day life, especially with what I'm looking at every day, it is this unimpressed stoic expression of like, really, oh really, really, this is what we're going with, really, that sort of thing.
Really? Well, that's
Yeah.
hard to see because, yes, Tance is, like you said on the Quackcast, the smiley face,
Yeah.
full of joy.
Yeah, because I'm glad to just be talking to normal people that have like basic baseline of logic, which is an excellent feeling of refreshing freedom. So I'm happy. I'm happy when I am online with my friends.
Same. I could be the grumpiest there ever could be, but as soon as I'm on the Quackcast with you guys, it's all smiles and happiness. So there we are. Finally, I'm among my peers. No more am I distressed with the appearance of the scum.
Yeah, sort of. That's like, my people. I'm with my people. That sort of. So yeah, there are like only very specific circles I feel this way with, and you are one of those very rare circles.
Oh,
And the other
honored.
one is psychology nerds.
Mhm.
Same feeling, different context, but same feeling.
This is real psychology nerds. This isn't people who are saying, my boyfriend's a narcissist because he's this.
No. I'm talking actual. I'm talking actual psychology nerds. The types that design experiments, build the projects, and make hypotheses, and actually use the scientific process. It's amazing. I love it.
They think it's
And
real off
also, like, yeah,
names of things.
I'm generally like, this is my happy place is you guys and psychology nerds.
Oh,
Those
Interesting.
two. Yeah.
We're among good company, Bones.
wonderful. Yeah.
Good company. Oh, that's very nice. So Bones, are you sticking with this reluctant, thirsty horse expression?
Well, yes. No, I'm always happy to be here. And then when I leave, I'm way happier. No.
You wanker.
Yeah, man. No, this is very nice. Yes, love being here as well. And I don't look at myself in the mirror or in a camera, so I don't know what my face looks like. But probably mouth hanging open, looking dumb.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Quite a muppet.
I will say some of my favorite expressions in cartooning that I love to look at and make me laugh are like, one of them is characters like overreacting emotion. Let's say a character I don't know, I must be thinking of something specific, but I don't remember what it was. But some cartoon strip where like a character ends up having to do all the dishes and they're like crying and like an exaggerated high drama kind of face when they're doing dishes. That kind of thing like really makes me laugh.
That's amazing. I love that. I oscillate. I mean, drawing expressions is, I think, my favorite part of drawing that I really, really love, like drawing expressions. And I like the exaggerated ones because they are so much fun, but I also like to make subtle expressions, like small expressions that you have to pay attention to, but really reveal what the character is thinking. Like, I'm thinking, for example, when in the video cast, I was said to draw the evil guy, the dastardly evil guy, or like I remember the one expression that came to my mind, but it wouldn't really work outside of the context, because context is key with a lot of expressions, is when Orestes is setting up this this trap for Basil using Iris, and she says, "Okay, yeah, I'm gonna send a contingent of Nazis against your guy, but he probably will get killed." And he says, will happen. It's all right. and as he walks away, he has this smile, like very small smile on his face, and that is, I think, the evilest smile I have ever drawn. But it's just a little smile. I mean, out of context, it's just a guy's smile.
Right.
Yeah, it has to have that context in order to us to really see why the smile exists. I think that was the thought.
Yeah.
That was the thing. Like last week, I talked about this. There was this video special that had been done with John Cleese sort of hosting it, and they were saying, yes, this expression means that, and this expression means that about the person's face. And I remember saying, yeah, there was this thing where he was saying, yes, this woman with this smile, that means she's a happy person and she is well adjusted and blah, blah, blah. And it was like, without context, none of that applies at all. You cannot tell anything about her from her expression. You can't understand anything about her state of mind or why she has that expression on her face without context. So that's nonsense.
But first off, and I have to mention in support of what you just said that most of the people suffering from chronic depression, and I'm not talking about being in an acute episode, but suffering from chronic depression, they usually mask by looking really happy. So they have, and it's not a false smile; it's a genuine smile. But that doesn't mean that the person is not depressed.
Yeah.
If that.
So the expression cannot give you any insight about how they're really feeling.
No.
There we are. Yeah, like for some people, a big toothy grin is seen as a sign of aggression.
Mm-hmm.
In some cultures, definitely. It's not a universal symbol for happiness. It can be seen as a threat because you show your teeth, like a chimpanzee does.
I was going to say, it isn't when a chimpanzee, quote unquote, smiles. You should get away, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's aggressive.
And that's another thing. Like, culture plays a huge role in how expressions are interpreted. And I always narrate this because it's so much fun. But there was this basketball game of the national team of Greece versus the team of New Zealand a few years ago, which was the first time we were playing them or something like that. I don't know. I mean, or anyway, it was the first time that we saw a team perform the haka.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be a war dance that is very, aggressive, like we're going to beat you down, and all of that. But in the Greek context, it's not that. It's just very offensive, like super offensive, but not aggressively offensive. It's just that someone is being a blip. Yeah, especially...
A taunt, basically.
Yeah, a taunt, but it's not... Like, you taunt people in war, but it's a taunt by someone who has no manners rather than a taunt by a warrior. In our culture, that doesn't mean anything about the New Zealanders, and especially when they stick out their tongue. This is like one of the biggest offenses that you could do to a Greek without actually saying something. So you could see, and that was like so much. I still laugh because you could see all the Greek players had this expression of intense anger. how the F dare you? Because they hadn't seen these people.
Oh dear, so they didn't get what it meant.
Yeah, they couldn't understand it. It was the first, and you could see that at first they were confused, and then they were just pissed because they were offended. And you could see that in every single Greek face. The only guy in the Greek team that didn't get it was the Greek American guy that has been raised in America and not in the US and not in Greece, so he didn't actually get it. He was the only one that was like, what is going on? Everybody else was like, how dare you, you blip, 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 I'm going to blip, blip. But after, like, now we have played New Zealand, I don't know how many times, everybody is on the same page.
Yeah.
But that first time is the most hilarious one. And the expression hasn't changed, but now it is interpreted properly.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, that's one of the key things about all communication. It just doesn't depend on what the person means. It's how the other person understands it. And it's this, but it's both those things. People often take it just being either one or the other, but it's not one or the other at all. It is both those things. It's very important.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is, it applies to everything, not just this incident in Greece.
Oh no!
Yes. Well,
even sorry.
No, go on.
Even eye contact could be seen as offensive or not, depending on the culture. Like here with us, you have to maintain eye contact, otherwise you are interpreted as being either insincere or having disdain for someone.
Yeah, lack of eye contact can be seen very offensive.
Right.
But there's some people, with the emotional difficulties or mental issues where they can't make eye contact. It's very, very hard for them.
And there are cultures where if you establish eye contact, that is what is offensive. Like you shouldn't actually look at the other person in the eyes.
Yes.
If you are not angry or something like that.
Or maintaining eye contact. Not just establishing it, but keeping it, and lack of blinking. So it's a nightmare. Just wear dark glasses and you'll be all right.
I try to hold eye contact for at least 10 minutes.
Without blinking.
Yeah.
Without blinking.
Without blinking, yeah.
Staring into their souls.
Yeah.
Looking at the back of their irises.
Exactly. Truthfully, you when this comes up, I'm always reminded that I have trouble making with eye contact. I can do it, but I kind of have to remind myself to do it. I don't know why that is exactly. Self-loathing.
It's your googly eyes on stalks, Baines. You just keep keep drooping.
Yeah. It does make them easier to contact each other. You just put them together.
Going back to the technical stuff of actually drawing the expressions, though, I mean, what is your? I mean, you have to use all the features of the face to make the expression, but what is the easiest shorthand that you use to create expressions?
The eyes and the eyebrows. You don't even need to do mouths. Just the eyes and the eyebrows. That can be any expression. It's one of the things, like eyes. People think smiles always involve mouths. That's people's idea, but that's wrong. The eyes are a very important part of that, because that completely changes the meaning of a smile, from evil, nasty, insincere to generally friendly and fun. But say with cats, the way a cat smiles is with their eyes. That's they don't use the mouth for that at all. The mouth is irrelevant to whatever expression they mean, but it's the narrowing of the eyes means the cat's happy. And that's the same with humans. We do the same thing. but we share more in common with our expressions with dogs, apparently, because they do the mouth thing. But yeah, it's...
Yeah, and they also have like muscles that do some eyebrow things.
Oh, very complicated eyebrow muscles for the dogs. They don't just narrow their eyes, they furrow their eyebrows and all sorts of crap going on up there.
Yeah, you see like dogs looking stressed out or something. Yeah, it's
Oh my god, yeah, dogs... Yeah, cats can smile with their eyes, but dogs look worried and stressed and afraid and all sorts of things.
Yeah. I mean, and now that I have both dogs and cats at the same time, because you get accustomed when you have just cats or just dogs.
Yeah.
You get accustomed to, what the species does. But now that I have both, I definitely see differences in how expression is communicated to me from
either one.
Yeah.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong here, but dogs have very complicated expressions for everything except happiness. Happiness is just the mouth open and the tongue lolling. The eyes don't really do much. It's just the mouth going.
But that is excitement on top of happiness. You have a dog can look content without opening the mouth. And when I say content, I mean like happy, and I'm happy. I'm happy as a clam, as a dog, that sort of thing. And they have this thing that they do, like they puff the upper, like the upper.
The snout? Yeah.
Yeah, like it puffs, it becomes more cartoony for some. I don't know how to explain it.
More cartoony, okay.
They become more cartoony when they are happy.
Yeah, all right. I suppose, if it's getting bigger, then maybe the muscles are like raising the hairs, making it fluffier, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and they do have this happy narrowing of the eyes like humans do. Like the lower lid becomes a bit curved, I guess, a little bit. I don't know. At least for my dogs do that.
Okay, maybe it's something just with Greek dogs. Although that is true. I mean, different animals pick up different expressions from their human counterparts, and those can be different depending on what part of the world they're from. So it's basically like accents or language. Yeah. But that's for another Quackcast. We're not talking about animal language here. We're talking about expression. Yeah, so animals have expressions, which is, I think when people draw animal expressions, they default to the dog expressions because that's easiest. It's very difficult to do cat expressions and all the other animal expressions because we're not hanging around most of the other animals enough. And, I mean... What expressions do rodents have? Like rabbits and rats and things like that? I don't know.
We need read for that from used books. She knows.
Yes.
Oh yeah, right.
But whenever I've been around any rodent, like guinea pigs or hamsters or rabbits or whatever, they just look like they're furious all the time because their eyes don't have the muscles around them that crinkle or anything like that. They're just always hard and black or red, depending on the pigmentation, and they're just staring hard at you. It's like,
I think
I hate you so much, eh? I hate you.
Black eyes like a dog's eyes.
Yes.
From what I've seen, like from clips on YouTube by people who keep rats and mice as pets, you see more expression in how they move their ears and stuff like that. At least for me, this is what stands out to me.
And blinking, the frequency of blinking and all that kind of stuff. I mean, birds are another thing. Birds. Expressions on birds. It's more body language with them than facial expression. I mean, for obvious reasons, their face is covered in feathers. There's not much contact between the surface muscles on their skin and the feathers. Snakes, lizards, all that kind of thing. They're not going to have expressions.
It's a pain. It's a pain drawing expression on animals, and I'm just starting to feel it really because, now that I have to draw all these animals that are supposed to emote, I'm not having fun usually. So.
Well, then we come to the famous thing of anthropomorphizing or whatever that word is, where you give a creature, you give something that's non-human human characteristics. That makes it understandable. So that's typically what we do for animals. We have your anthros, furries. Non-anthro animals, you do it with them as well. You do it with inanimate objects, robots, whatever. And it gives them relatability. It gives them human-like expressions. And it's very simple. Like the Wall-E thing was a very famous example of that, which was the Pixar cartoon with the robots who had very limited things to express with, just a couple of flaps above his eye camera sort of things, and that gave him his expression. People went, oh my god, look at Pixar, aren't they incredible for giving this thing these expressions, my god. But of course, like 20 years before, there was a robot, an actual physical robot in this thing, a Short Circuit, the film, which had
I remember that.
Exactly the same form as Wall-E. Wall-E is basically a copy of Number 5 from Short Circuit. And they already do all those expressions on him, which was amazing. Without the benefit of animation, that was physical stuff. So, yeah.
The most brilliant piece of animation of giving expression to something that really is not suitable for even anthropomorphizing it is the rug in Aladdin. The way the rug is animated, it's one of the most expressive characters in animation that I have seen, and it has literally nothing. It's a square with tassels, and it's so well animated. I think it's a genius way of giving expression through body language, of course, but it's not only body language because they have this little crease where the head would be normally, and that crease, if you pay attention to it, it does have a bit of eyebrow action
or mouth action.
You don't notice, but your brain notices. So you apply expression.
Yeah, that is amazing, actually.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit of a cleverness to giving inanimate things expression or anthropomorphizing things like that. And I admire when people do it, but it's a very simplified form of giving something expressions. You cut out all the complicated stuff and just try and simplify things to the very, very basics. Like there used to be this comic where there was, I suppose there's probably many comics like this, but one I remember, it just had shapes, a circle, a square, and a triangle. But still managed to give expressions. And these things didn't even have eyes. Just like the angles of them. Two-dimensional kind of shapes, polygons. Just giving them the angles and colouring and whatever. But, alright, let's bring this back to faces and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that when you draw expressions on characters, you mirror that expression with your own face in order to try and get it?
Yeah.
Like,
all the time.
Yeah, not even looking in a mirror. You just do that expression on your face in order to get the feel of it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's without a mirror. It's without looking. But yeah, it's sort of...
Yeah.
Even if I... often it is just unconscious. I just catch myself having the expression I'm drawing. So.
Yeah.
So if you were drawing a comic with people just being angry all the time, your face would start to ache after a while. Someone would look at you and go, "Oh my God, Tance, what's wrong?"
Yeah, I mean, Now, my mom just knows that when I'm drawing, I'm making weird faces, so she ignores. It's like- but there was a time, once upon a time, where it was like, "What's happening? Are you listening to something that is making you feel bad? What is it?" That sort of thing. But yeah, and I find sometimes that if I if I don't make the expression, my brain struggles more to
Yeah.
actually put it on paper.
Right.
Um,
Huh.
yeah,
Interesting. Interesting. So we have to act out what we're drawing,
Mm.
which is
yeah.
amazing.
Especially if it is something not that I don't use. I mean, if it is an expression I usually, I'm really used to making, like frowny people that are unhappy. Why would I know that after 12 years of without moonlight? Um, um, but then I don't need to do it. My face doesn't match what I'm drawing. But if it is something that is relatively new, I have to actually think how to make it. Definitely. Like in this latest page of Verdant that I made, there is this action move that one of the characters is making on that I actually had to act it out in front of the mirror at least 100 times, and I got a workout just because I was making the movement, like the entire move.
Wow.
And yeah, I didn't. Nobody was even like taking reference photos for me. I just had to act it out in front of the mirror, and so my brain could understand the momentum and the placement of the torso, and all of that. So
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Oh my goodness me. Yes. Complicated stuff. Most of the time, it's just too complicated for me even to think. So I just scribble around until I can get a basic match. Well, speaking of scribbling, when we did our because okay, so for our Patreon video, we did our little whiteboard thing where we did this drawing expressions live, and oh my god, that was so hard. That was
yeah.
the tools were crude, but I couldn't do any good expressions at all. I felt like an
I couldn't
idiot.
see yours. I couldn't see yours because they were not in frame where I was sketching.
Oh
But
right.
I doubt that.
No,
I
no.
doubt it too. I'm the same. I couldn't see everything you were drawing. Some of it. Yeah.
Oh my god, too bad, guys. Yeah, because that was terrible. I just could not. So yeah, it can be very hard, no matter how good you think you are. When it comes to I don't think it was the pressure of it. It was just using the unfamiliar tools.
Yeah. And the fact that the eraser would erase like the entire thing instead of just letting you erase what you really want, like small little
Mm.
lines. And
Yeah.
and that makes you like it, at least for me, it forced me to redraw everything, which really sets it's not the way I make expressions. I usually make my basic arrangement, and then there are like 100 lines, and I sort of slowly erase until I get the shape I want. And I could not do that in this. So
Yes. Oh my god.
Right.
I mean, one of the big things for when I draw is subtlety. Like
mm,
you do a face, and the subtlest changes give massive differences in expression and look and appearance. But with those sort of tools, you can't be subtle. You have to be as obvious as possible in order to get it out. And it just doesn't work for that style. So it works for a more I won't say it works for more exaggerated cartoony kind of stuff. If you can master that style, then you can use those tools really well.
that's why Baines was the best of us.
Yeah,
So,
Baines outperformed us It ran rings around us again and again and again.
Yeah.
That's like, yeah, drawing in like a simple cartoony style. Not that I've mastered it. I haven't mastered anything, but like to do, that's how I do it. If it's a tough expression, there will be a layer for the eyes, a layer for the mouth. You can kind of get rid of that and do it again, do it again, do it again. And like I do hold that expression on my face, sort of semi-unconsciously, but also like when I draw an expression that's important to the story, I kind of draw it and then I look at it and sort of just feel what my response is to looking at it. You know, is this appealing to me? Is this like working for me? And oftentimes when it really works, I'll have commenters comment on that expression that they, just kind of using your own humanity to respond to.
Yeah.
The cartoon you're drawing, and you're projecting a lot onto it, so you sort of have clues or cues or whatever, and then we fill in the blanks when we look at that face.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Me too. I mean, when in doubt, go make a cup of coffee and look at it again when the coffee is done. That's what I do.
Yeah, it's important to take some time away. But Baines, your expressions also, not just your cartooning, drawing, it also translates directly to your 3D work as well when you do expressions with the characters.
Yeah, and they're more realistic looking. Sorry to interrupt you. Please.
You're not. This is your cue. You took it up.
Oh, good. Yeah, see, I can't follow verbal cues. I'm more into expression. But no, I'll do this. It's the same with 3D, as different as it is, and as sort of more real, quote unquote, realistic looking as it is. It's the same thing. Like I'm tweaking the expression, and then I'm kind of just feeling what I feel like when I look at it. Sometimes it's, you want the character to be appealing or cute or whatever along with it. But a lot of times it's like, is this expression working for me? Like when I look at it, do I feel how I want to feel? So that's constantly what I do anyway.
Well, you're very accurate with your 3D character expressions.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
Thankfully,
so.
Yeah, it seems to be kind of sort of not universal, but really widespread. Like the expressions I like, I'll hear from other people who say like, I like that. I like that.
And I have to say, in 3D, I don't often see expressions that connect to me in a sense that, yeah, this convinces me that this is a human expression or an expression from a person. But your 3D people actually emote, and I really like that.
Yeah, it combats that uncanny valley kind of robotic feeling, doll-like feeling that a lot of that work has, that you can't really identify with it so much. You look at the work and there's always that barrier between identifying and just sort of not being able to really feel it. But with your work, yeah, you can feel it right away because they're real expressions. So yeah, you have a real skill.
Thank you so much, you guys. That makes me so happy to hear that. That's like, oh, that's great to hear. It really is. Sometimes I'll add like, what was that?
You should be teaching.
Yeah,
well, I think, what I just said is a lot of it. Oh, please, why am I interrupting you when you're saying these wonderful things?
Go for it.
I don't know if I could, but like a large percentage of it is what I said. It's sort of like you're rendering it, or like you're sort of posing it, or you're drawing it, whatever, and you're just looking at it and feeling. Not with no effort. You're just kind of looking at it and saying, "Am I feeling like what I want to feel?"
Yeah. Tweaking the right aspects.
Yeah. A lot of times I'll add highlights. Like if it didn't work in the 3D, I'm not an expert with lighting, a 3D scene or anything. So sometimes they will come out with black eyes. And so like a lot of time in post-production, I'll add a little highlight. Same as I do in cartooning. Like you want that little bit. And that can be a handy trick.
Oh yes, the reflective eyeballs is an important thing. Even if there's no light in a room, you've got to have those reflective eyeballs.
Yeah, exactly. King of the Hill, the cartoon King of the Hill did it. They always had a little ball, little highlights in the eyeballs.
I've never noticed that. I've seen a lot of those, but yeah.
I heard one of them talking about it on some special feature or something.
Really?
Yeah, it definitely can help when a character comes out with black eyes and stuff. And I think I do have blank expressions on the 3D characters sometimes, but when it matters, hopefully.
Oh yeah,
capturing some emotion.
it's perfect. Yeah, from the innocent look of Max and his family, innocent little hamsters that they are, to Minnie's family, who are quite a bit more adult in their looks and expressions. Right. So yeah, there's a huge difference. Evil Alina, my favorite character.
Oh my god, you love to hate her, and seriously,
I just love her. I don't hate her at all. I think she's wonderful.
No. I have almost deja vu of people I have met that are like that. So which is another reason why I have a policy of binge reading pages, because I don't want to wait, to see what I have to just rage read everything.
Right. Awesome. Well, I'm talking about expressions. Manga is a good thing to address. Because we talked about, more cartoony stuff, 3D stuff. We might as well address manga. Because they have very, very regular ways of showing expressions. Often artwork is sort of all over the place with the way they show expressions. But in manga, it doesn't matter what you would read, or, anime, how a lot of us experience this stuff. The expressions are always done the same way. And they have a bit of a number of expressions. They have these things to help expression. It's the famous sweat drop, which shows, concern or whatever.
Nervousness,
yeah, embarrassment. And then there's the little grid of I don't know what you'd call it.
It's a swollen vein thing.
Yeah, but it's stylized in a way that it can hover above the head. Yeah. So it's not actually on the head; it can be just in the air above you.
They have a lot of shorthand, almost like sound effects, but for expressions.
And then there's the expressions themselves, which have a lot of different ways of doing it. I mean, there's the evil person with the glasses whose expression is basically they'll look a certain way and their glasses become totally white, so you can't see through them, and then they'll push them up in the middle, which means
kind of like this.
They're feigning unconcern. And pushing glasses up in the middle is the most dumbest thing. You don't adjust your glasses that way.
I have to say, though, in defense of that, because I also felt that was like the most impractical way to push your glasses up. In certain contexts, I have caught myself doing that, like actually pushing my glasses up that way. And it's always when I am doing something else that makes my hands dirty. So I use it like the pinky finger to do like this.
All right.
Push upwards. So especially when I'm cooking and baking stuff, and I need to push my glasses up, that's how I do it. Which I caught myself the other day, and I said, "Oh my God, I'm doing it the way that I'm saying is not done."
Okay, so when you're being evil, your hands are dripping with blood. You push them in the middle, so you don't get them smeared.
She covered it up well there with that cooking story.
Yeah.
What was she cooking?
Guys, you shouldn't be outing me. I mean, come on.
You shouldn't be gore shaming you. That's bad.
Yeah.
But you guys, you both have a more realistic style than I do by far. Do you use much exaggeration or deliberate moments of exaggeration when it comes to people's faces. And I mean, you don't have eyebrows flying off the head or sweat. Maybe
No.
do you have like little spurts of sweat in the air? I use that sometimes.
I use that. Yeah, I use
You
that.
do?
Yeah.
I still use that. Yeah,
The drops around the head.
yeah. When
Yeah.
someone is startled, I will still use that. Like,
It works.
I
That
will
works very well.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I don't think I use any other shorthand of
There's
that.
the lines around the head, lines that hover to show someone is really in consternation. So not sweat, but just 2 lines can show
Oh,
sudden
yeah.
movement or
Yeah. Like in
Yeah,
tremor or something. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a great one.
But what I do in exaggeration, although I think it is, at least I tell myself it is subtle enough. I mean, you correct me, is that I may make the eyes deliberately bigger in certain expressions, like bigger than proportionally they normally are in the face of the character, when I want the expression to be more intense. So I
I
will
do as
make the
well.
eyes, yeah, a little bit, not like super bigger. I don't go Disney, but I do make them like bigger and a little wider, usually in whatever shape is appropriate for the expression, to make it a bit more intense. That's
Yeah.
that's the exaggeration I do.
Right.
That's
It's subtle. I've never noticed it in your comics. You're just kind of reading it and feeling it, and
Oh.
you're into it. So that's just what you want, I think. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Cartooning is
That
so cool.
makes me feel so happy.
Bottomless Waitress has become way more cartoony in the way I draw expressions. I exaggerate way more. Yeah, big eyes, mouths open too wide, all that kind of stuff.
It works so well in bottomless waitress.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and it never reads as too cartoony to me. Of course,
Yeah.
my taste is I like cartoons, but it doesn't read as.
Yeah, to me either. I mean, you just take it. It doesn't even feel exaggerated, even within the style. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just the way they emote.
It's certainly more fun anyway than doing subtle expressions, which is a more Pinky TA thing to do, subtle expressions. But more exaggerated, it just feels more human and more communicative. Because
Yeah.
Yeah.
we can understand it at a deeper level. There's a whole myth about, 85% of communication is actually non-verbal, which is not true because
No.
the most communication is actually verbal. It's not.
The non-verbal part just offers extra context
Context, yeah.
and intent, and it accentuates certain elements and all of that. And now that I think
Exactly.
about it, in Verdant, the most cartoony character I have, in the sense like more cartoony features and stuff, is the kid, the girl, Avilla, and she is the one with the more exaggerated expressions, and like especially when she screams and she says like, do this, do that, she's the more cartoony.
That helps children is always...
Yeah.
Like in reality, children have more expressive faces because they're not hiding things. They're just being totally obvious. They don't. It's not that adults hide stuff. It's that adults have a million billion thoughts at once and intentions and things. So their faces can't express that all. Whereas children don't. There's just not that much going on in their heads at once.
They are more in the moment, in the sense that an adult, assuming they are adult actually, will consider more how whatever the behavior, how it is going to get across, and how that will translate into the immediate future. The younger the kid, the less that process happens. They are more egocentric, not because they are selfish, but because they literally cannot put themselves in the point of view of someone else until they reach a certain physical age. So
Yeah, the brains are undeveloped. They are inexperienced. So they just can't do it.
Yeah.
Baines, what were you going to say?
Oh no, I was just agreeing and understanding and approving.
As your expression shows.
Yeah. So definitely a kid will be a lot more intense and in the moment, even when like the issue is that they can't see their favorite cartoon now or something like that. So
Yeah.
Exactly. They're very obvious, basically. That's the one thing about animals as well. We were talking earlier about animals and the difficulty of understanding their expressions in the way we'd think about humans. Animals are the same as children in that they are very simple and obvious in their intent, and that's pretty much all animals. They're incredibly obvious in their intent.
Yeah.
Which makes it a bit easier in some ways. And a bit more entertaining. I was thinking, the whole non-verbal communication myth is really exemplified by the fact that scientific studies and great big books and stuff like that don't have appendices full of all the different expressions that are meant to, and body language is meant to accompany a single point.
And another thing I have to say about body language, especially because there is this whole thing of you can read body language and tell from body language, especially like if someone's lying, you can tell.
Oh my god, yes.
No, you can't. You can't.
There's this terrible crime show. I think it's called Lie to Me, something like that.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, okay. It stars Roth, this famous actor. I can't remember his name. Tim Roth.
Tim Roth.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Great actor. Yeah, I think it's called Lie to Me, and it's based around. He has this institute where they examine people's expressions, and people come to this institute in order to solve crimes and like special hostage situations, because they can tell if someone's lying by their expression, and it is such bullshit. Oh my god, it's just so dumb. Like, oh my god, there's a half flicker of the eyes there, that means this person's lying. Oh no, it's so stupid.
Isn't it more like
and the thing is,
people explain it better that you can tell if they're nervous or not. It's more than lying. Like they're doing nervous behaviors or something.
They layer it on. They say, oh, this is nervous and this is nervous. That means you're hiding something from me. There's more to
right.
And the thing is that there are definitely body language will give you cues to explore. Like it might give you some trajectories to follow and explore if you are trying to discern if someone is lying and all that. But you cannot tell from the expression or the body language anything except nervousness, like very universal stuff that does not translate into lying or truthfulness. And the other thing is, you have to know the person's baseline to be able to tell if they are deviating from their normal way of expressing truthfulness or expressing lying or all of that. And nobody can tell that in like 4 hours of worth of interviewing. Right.
Or doing a study of all these people and anything. Yeah, this represents, untruth or nervousness in everybody.
Yeah.
So if you're doing it, that means you're doing it as well.
So. Do you know what such studies tell you? Such studies tell you what the brain codifies as trustworthy or untrustworthy or, sincere, insincere, all of that. We can see what the brain looks for in behavior. Excuse my dogs. They are in a rivalry with other dogs right now.
Yeah, those dogs were smiling at them, and they dogs didn't know how to take it. Are you coming on to us? Is this a threat? What?
Yeah. So that's the only thing that we can actually tell. Like, what is the pattern recognition? The patterns that our brains are looking for to recognize in order to interpret certain things. But that's the only thing you can tell. You cannot tell if the pattern actually expresses
Yeah.
X, Y,
You can't tell what is meant. You can only tell how you receive it.
exactly.
Which is different. So, oh yeah. We've still got 3 minutes to our call. So but we really should wrap up pretty soon.
Yes.
So yeah, expressions. It's very interesting. So we'll have to do some screen captures from our crappy whiteboard stuff, and I'll put that on the cover of the Quackcast.
Oh, fantastic!
Not
This is sarcasm. You cannot tell from my expression, though.
I'll just put the dick on there from the first.
I will say I like in anime, like where you'll have a character off screen is talking, and they do this for the economics of cranking out an animated series, obviously. But you'll have a long like still shot, or just the camera moving up a still of a character with like a stoic expression. Maybe they look a little angry, or maybe they look a little like wide-eyed, and those are basically the two variations.
Yeah.
Sort of serious and stoic, or the sort of wide-eyed and like, and the camera will just pan up, and maybe you'll have the flicker of the eyeball highlights. That'll be the only animation. I find that so funny, and it's actually effective.
It is.
It is.
And anime has mastered so much stuff about expressions, and damn it, especially with the eyes. Oh my god! But
Amazing.
This Quackcast has got to end now, guys. So thanks for being part of it, Baines and Tarns.
Thank you.
Quackcast number 702, Expression Cast.
Bye.
Bye.